Here it is at full speed, half speed, and quarter speed. This is day 20 of learning to make animated movies. My name is Michael Lardizabal, and today, while you watch me draw these live action frames from Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon to study some movement, let me tell you about what I've been working on and thinking on in my animation filmmaking journey. So Blender. I am taking this course from C2 Fast Track. I already made this epic sword with crazy lightning and some camera moves and a character walking on the screen, and it's awesome. It makes me really happy. But I'm redoing it so that I can solidify the lessons and make sure I didn't just go step by step and follow a cooking instruction and then not know how to actually make it again or make something similar but different. So now I'm doing it again, following it step by step, but doing it faster. And then I want to do it again from memory so that I can truly master this. I also finished the first version of my script for my first animated short, so that's really exciting. My goal is that this is going to be my testing ground, my playground, where I can really learn how to do all the stuff it takes to make an animation. So this is me just jumping into the deep end. I've already sent the script out to a few people for critiques, but I'm going to go ahead and start storyboarding what I have so far right after I make this video. So far, it seems like my friends and my wife seem to really enjoy it, so that's happy. And these are like legitimate reactions where they're like, oh wow, that was really fun. And I can tell that it seems real. That's really nice. In case you missed it, my current schedule experiment for becoming an animation filmmaker, I'm essentially working on my current stories, both my big story and my animated short, 3 days a week. And then for 3 other days of the week, I'm doing courses and tutorials to grow my skills in Blender and 2D animation. 1 day of the week is devoted to planning, to essentially ask myself, is there anything I can do to my overall process to make everything easier or better? And also happier, because I think that's important, to enjoy the process, right? To that end, as part of my schedule, I have this energy-based decision flowchart, which essentially tells me, depending on my energy level, what level of content should I make, and also what level and volume of animation filmmaking activities should I be doing. Because essentially, it's really easy to have eyes bigger than your stomach and fill your plate up so full that you burn yourself out, and I don't want that to happen. In the micro, it's a good lesson to realize what's too much and what's too little depending on your energy level. But on the macro level, if I let that continue, then it will lead to bad things. And I want to do this forever, so I'm going to figure out the right ways to manage my energy. Speaking of this version of my schedule and this flowchart, it's all an experiment. It's all a hypothesis. I think if I do my life this way, I'll get the right result that I want. But it's all very subject to change. I'm devoted to being as efficient as I can be while having the most fun that I can. And honestly, I asked myself this question that made me feel like I'm very close to the next iteration of the schedule already, which essentially I asked myself, hey, if you're gonna change this thing up the next time around, what do you think you would change? Like, what would be even better than this current iteration? And essentially what I came down to was, what if I left my planning day in there, but then I had story stuff in the morning, whatever phase of the pipeline I'm on, so writing, storyboarding, animatic, actually animating, whatever. And then I learned stuff at night in my free time, and then I have a day for, filming and editing a weekly video. Ultimately, I'm trying to zone into the ultimate schedule for this stage of my life. I'm a married guy, working a job, I'm growing as an independent filmmaker, and I also want to post on YouTube. So when it comes to just the making, learning, and posting, I think actively making stuff more will expose the bottlenecks in my process and force me to learn what do I need to break through in order to keep going. Devoted learning time can expose me to new tools and workflows to inspire a better process. And then posting is like this mix of wanting to have something to look back on, to document my Rocky montage for me, but it's also wanting to do that, document it for others, for you guys. Because I personally love videos of people following their dream and making it happen. I think they're super entertaining and inspiring, and I want to be able to do that for other people, just not at the expense of my creative time. So far, I'm really enjoying them, but I do feel like I could be putting more focused time into the actual filmmaking if I wasn't doing these videos. So yeah, I'm looking for the right balance, which is gut reaction, probably like an 80-20 split. 80% of time and energy on doing and learning, 20% on content and sharing. Right now, it's probably been 60% on content, 40% on the rest. So if I just leave Sundays alone, that's my plan and improved day. I can chill out, I can vibe, and I can just make things better. Then 80% of 6 days left is 4.8 days. So let's just imagine that's 5 days. That would leave me 1 day for making content and 1 day for planning. If I kept the idea of like morning time is when I work on my stories and troubleshoot whatever bottleneck I currently am facing in order to move the story forward, then nighttime, when available, is time to work on further R&D if I'm facing a really intense bottleneck that's stopping me from moving my story. And then if things are going well, then I can devote that time to courses and tutorials and practice to improve my knowledge of the tools that I'm using, as well as discover workflows from other cool people out there. Then essentially, if I satisfactorily check those boxes for the day, then I can do bonus stuff, which is other stuff that I think is really fun and also helpful for my process, but not necessary. So this is stuff like the studies of Mulan, the studies of Avatar: Last Airbender. It's essentially it's not the fundamental skills that I'm lacking, I'm taking the skills I currently have and making them better. Once I get a firm grasp of the entire animation pipeline where I've actually made a finished thing, I think I'll be able to have a lot more time for that and it make more sense. But right now, I'm really realizing I need to zero in and Death Star laser focus. Making is the most important. Learning whenever I get stuck while I'm making. Eliminating those bottlenecks is second most important. Most important is making stuff. Right behind that is learning anything that's stopping me from making stuff. So figuring out how can I remove the next bottleneck. And then following that is content. I love it. I want to keep doing it. I'm gonna keep doing it. But I definitely need to figure out how to reduce the amount of time that I'm spending on it. And then after that is the eternal improvements I'll be making in my art and studying story and whatnot. And then also making time for chilling out, playing video games, watching shows and movies, hanging out with people, petting my cats, all that kind of stuff. I'm just ideating kind of out loud as I'm talking right now. And so this is less of this is what I'm gonna do, but it's more of this is what I think I might do, and tomorrow on my planning day, I'll probably really decide. But at the very least, might be some interesting experiment next week where I switch up the content rhythm and switch up my creation rhythm. And ultimately, while it means, the sad part of being apart from each other for a few more days at a time, I think when I show up for the next video, if I do take those days off and try out doing a weekly one, then I think you're gonna get a super energized me that has a lot of cool stuff to show and a lot of great lessons to share. Whatever the case, whatever tomorrow me decides on my planning day, I am so grateful to be doing what I love and pursuing my dream. And I'm also super grateful to any of you that are watching and listening to these. It's been really gratifying. It's been really cool. Made a couple friends. We've been talking about animation and storytelling and this creative life. And it just feels good to be on the path. I'm not thinking about getting on the path. I'm on the path. As I close up, if you're a creative person and you also are on your path, good job. Keep it going. We got this. And I'm proud of you for doing it. If you're a creative person and you are thinking about doing your thing, I just encourage you to find a way to start small and just get started. And then have grace with yourself as you figure it out. There's a lot of stumbles along the way, but if you keep picking yourself up, just like Frodo and Sam, delivering the ring, going to destroy the ring, then you can make it too. We can do this. All right, if you made it this far, you're in the Final Credits Club. Really appreciate you being here. I want you to mention one of your favorite martial arts or kung fu films or shows, because I'm on the hunt. I'm on the hunt. If I haven't seen it, I want to see it. I'm doing my research. And I got to get ready for my Kung Fu Revenge fantasy big story. And even my short film is very, martial arts, Asian inspired, and but with some fantasy and magic elements. So that would be really great. You're the best. Okay, have a good day. It's been good hanging out with you. See ya.